What's up, guys? So, we talk about combat sports, right? Well, Jake Paul and Logan Paul fall under that category. So, we're going to talk about it. So, did you hear that Tommy Fury bailed out of the fight and Tyron Woodley is going in for the rematch? So, there was discussion circulating that in Jake Paul's contract with Tyron Woodley in the first fight, Tyron Woodley was not allowed to knock him out. And that's why he hesitated when he knocked him through the ropes. I don't know if that's true or not. Jake Paul is saying that's completely not true, and that, as a matter of fact, in this fight, he's going to give Tyron Woodley an extra $500,000 if he can knock him out. So if Tyron Woodley knocks out Jake Paul, he's going to get $500,000 in addition to his fight pay. That makes it pretty interesting. I think the whole narrative and storyline behind fighting Tyron, getting the tattoo, not giving him the rematch, then Tommy Fury coming in and not showing up to press conferences, not showing up to interviews, having his dad and his brother carry the interviews and the media and stuff like that, not being able to handle it, under too much pressure, and then comes up with a fake injury for only Tyron Woodley to swoop in and already be training and ready, and covering his tracks with, if you can knock me out, I'll give you an extra $500,000. I think is savage. Savage business, savage storyline. It doesn't get better than that. The only way it could be better than that is if it was written. And this storyline and this narrative has already been written. I mean, the way Jake Paul talks, he sounds like the real deal. So I guess all we can really do is assume he is until he's not. If that ever happens, it might not. And what I mean by that is, like, we don't know what the future brings. We don't know what the contracts look like. We don't know anything. All we can do is speculate and either enjoy it or hate it. I personally enjoy it. Now, Jake Paul is saying that Tommy Fury was afraid of him. He said he believes that the lights were too bright and there's too much pressure, and just Tommy's not really cut out for this, and he got scared. There was just too much pressure, and so they made up a fake injury. But then Tommy posts evidence that shows he had a cracked rib or whatever. He showed evidence of something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But he showed some sort of evidence. And all the other fighters in the UFC, and even Jake Paul, were like, he's not a real fighter then. Even Shale. Now, this is what's interesting. Shale has verbally inducted Jake Paul into the fight club. You know, into the boys club, basically. He said it on his podcast. Jake Paul is one of us. I am coming out and saying it right now, and you can't argue with me. Who's going to argue with Shale? He's the most seasoned veteran that we all respect as a fighter in his opinion on the business. He's come out and said he's one of us. He's one of the boys. So Jake Paul is in the cool club now with all the fighters. The only person he's not in the cool club with is Dana White, it seems. But Dana White, that makes sense because Jake Paul is starting a competing business and threatening, well, not only poaching, but threatening UFC's business in Dana's mind. I don't know if it's actually happening, because personally, I think that it's growing it. It's embellishing the community. It's growing the community of people who love the fight game. And I think that's cool. I love it, but I don't have a lot of friends or family that like it. I don't have any family that likes it. And I have very few friends who like it. So if Jake Paul and Logan Paul bring more people into the community that can enjoy it, I'm in. So I'm just going to come out and say it. Like, when Jake Paul and Logan Paul and all them first started, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. Like, come on, man. These guys are YouTube dudes. Like, where's the line? But they're young, and they dedicated hours into the gym training for this. They're not just YouTube guys. They're famous guys who became boxers and are doing good business. So, yeah.
I like Jake Paul. I like Logan Paul.
Fuck it.
I remember a time when Logan Paul was wanting to fight in the UFC, and Dana was like, that kid will never fight in the UFC. Like, he made up his mind, like, right there. I don't know why so fast. Like, he should have probably said, well, who am I to tell Dana what he should have said? But if it were me, I would have been like, all right, kid, I'll tell you what. See, I think this would have been a smarter move from Dana, because this would have completely changed the course, or could have potentially changed the course of Logan Paul and Jake Paul in their careers. If Dana White gave them a platform on the UFC to fight, think about it. They wouldn't have had to create their own company to do this. Maybe they still would have, I don't know, but they wouldn't have had to have done that. So if Dana White had said, all right, Logan Paul, young Logan Paul, I'll tell you what. You train in a gym, dedicated, train in the gym. I want to know that you're there at least 3 to 4 times a week, training for at least 2 or 3 hours. If you do that for 2 years, I'll give you a fight. Logan Paul would have went at it. He would have made tons of content of him training and stuff like that. Dana White probably would have saw Logan going hard, saw Jake Paul going hard, and been like, damn, these kids aren't playing. These guys are not playing. Maybe I give them this fight with this person. I know I said 2 years, but they're going pretty savage. So I'll give them this newcomer. Seems like it could be about even. Or even let them do a couple amateur fights, and then Logan Paul and Jake Paul could have made a big deal out of that, done their thing. And then Dana could have taken all those followers, all those people that Jake Paul and Logan Paul are making money from their fights, and he could have got them to be on the UFC's platform. So I think I'm going to say something crazy, because Dana White he's my favorite CEO. I think he's super smart, a genius, business badass, but I think he made a mistake there. I think he should have seen that Logan and Jake want to fight and given them the opportunity to do that. I think that would have saved him a lot of headache and made him a lot of money. Anyway, if you like the content, please subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you think, and
Ring the bell.
Oh, come on, man.